Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Life with the Boys. We're joined by two more guests today. We have
Ryne and Sofia.
all right, and today we're gonna mix it up. What?
You forgot to introduce me.
Oh, this is my co-host Jack.
Okay.
He's not that important, but anyway. So today's episode is gonna be a little bit different. Usually we're just about self-improvement, but this kind of ties into relationships and just men and women in general. So we're gonna start off with talking about hookup culture. So. And being teenagers and stuff, hookup culture is a huge thing. Not everyone's involved in it, but a lot of people are, and it's kind of like a societal norm at this point. Like people are encouraged to do it and stuff like that. So I want to know, what are your thoughts on it? What do you think is good about it? What do you think is bad about it, etc.?
You go first.
I go first? Alright, I think, to be honest, hookup culture is completely overhyped. I'm not saying I completely am against it, but I think just, now that we're growing up and maturing, I feel like we should be in the point where we're into relationships and, being patient. You don't have to jump right into something just because all your friends are. It's completely okay to be single. It should be normalized, and I think hookup culture is a little overrated.
And then I kind of agree, but, some people do hookup culture, but it shouldn't be what everything's about. But, everyone sees it differently. Some people see it as the only thing that there is to do, which there isn't, because there's other things, but it's not wrong necessarily, but it's not just for everyone.
Right, yeah, no, the way I see it is, it's definitely not a substitute for a relationship. If you're single and you want to do it to get experience and just have a little fun, it's whatever, you do you. The benefit I see with it being here is that people can do that. You can just have fun with someone and they can have fun with you, and then there's no attachments after that. But in the long run, I like to say that the people who only indulge in hookup culture and have no interest in any relationships and building a deep connection with someone, I say to them that not only are they going to get into their first relationship once they're much, much older, but when they get into that relationship much older, they're not going to know what the fuck to do in the relationship. Exactly. And if you're only indulging in hookup culture at this age and you don't really like someone for them, you're just you're missing out in a sense that you don't know how to really care about someone.
I would agree to disagree with that, because I think that people have their whole lives to get into any relationship they'll get into. For example, my dad's only been in 3 relationships in his whole life. And I think that you should do whatever the hell you want. It's your life. You only live once. And if you want to get with people, go ahead. And if you want to be in a relationship, just be in a relationship. It's totally up to you. And you have all the time. You have your 20s, you have your 30s, you have your 40s, and you have your 50s, however long to be in any relationship you want to be into. And when you say when you're older, and it's not gonna be, it's gonna be your first time, and you're not gonna know how to do it, I think it's a little better to be a little older, because when you're younger, you're kind of dumb. You don't have as much experience, and when you're older, even no matter what, if you're in your first relationship, you don't know what you're doing. Period. So when you're older, you'll just get the experience when you're older.
Right, so I don't disagree with that. My point only is, in my opinion, it's better to get into your first relationship when you're younger, so that when you do fuck up, you learn from it then, instead of being 25 in your first relationship, and then your girlfriend breaking up with you, and you're depressed for the next year.
But not everybody is ready at our age.
That's true.
I feel like it doesn't really matter age. Age doesn't really qualify. It's more just mental maturity. To be honest, if you're gonna be I know it's a touchy word, controlling. If you want to be like that and you want to be restrictive over your boyfriend, girlfriend, however they classify themselves, that's just a matter of mental maturity. You have to realize you need trust. And I know that's such a word that's passed around, but really it's built on trust and communication. And if you're not ready to do that, don't do it. Simple.
Right.
And then, so I do believe that if you are a little older, then you will be more mature and know how to handle things, but if you haven't been in a previous relationship, then you could mess up on the small things and won't know how to correct them, because if you don't have the previous experience, you won't necessarily know what to do.
Well, that's what communication is for. You talk to your person who you're in the relationship with, and you talk about what's going on, what's wrong, and then you guys come up with something better to talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but sometimes when people like make mistakes, some people are harder on like forgiveness than others, or you won't necessarily know what to do. Not like just communication in general, but you just won't know what to do.
You can't force a relationship.
Of course not.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, I also find that, using just as an example, someone who only hooks up with people and doesn't try to like someone for them, you know what I mean? I see people having issues once they get a little bit older and at our age with communication and opening up to people and stuff like that. And essentially, people not being able to actually form a connection with someone because these people are so used to just hooking up with people and then going to the next person that once they get someone that they actually like a little bit, they're mind blown. They're like, is this like a fairy tale? Is this even real? And then people start to overthink and all that. All that's normal for your first relationship. You're going to have mistakes in every relationship. There's going to be arguments. Not everything's going to be pretty happy all the time. But yet another thing is, in our society, it's kind of like Disney movies, for example. They portray relationships as just 100%, happy and loving and stuff like that. And we're never really shown that disagreeing on stuff with your partner and like having like arguments and stuff like that, like healthy arguments and stuff like that. We're not shown that unless like, if you grow up and your parents are fighting all the time, that's a different story. And then you see that, but we're not really taught that much about relationships in general. Like, we have health class in school and then like, oh, this is how you should treat a guy, this is how you should treat a girl, basic shit. But we're never actually taught how to be in a relationship. And there's not one way, of course, to be in a relationship. There's not one size fits all. Everyone's different. Everyone has different values. Everyone has different wants, different needs. But even like the general stuff isn't talked about.
I completely agree. Yeah, I just feel like a relationship obviously doesn't have a script. It can go any way. It's like you said, one size doesn't fit all. But I feel like people should more expect, like, everyone thinks it's going to be like rainbows and like roses and stuff. It's not like that. Literally, there's things called honeymoon phases. It lasts for like a month where you're like, oh, so into each other. The next thing you know, it's like, you kind of like, I want to be careful how I word this, don't miss them. Like, you're so used to seeing them and you're like, okay, like, I'm not really in that like whole crazy puppies and rainbows phase over here. Like, it's old, and you just settle in and things start to feel like a little bit duller in a way. It's not like how the movies make it, that's for sure. I feel like pop culture can also influence how you look at a relationship, see it through like rose-colored glasses.
Yeah, definitely.
And then sometimes with relationships, on the outside, everyone's like, oh, they're the perfect couple or whatever. But not everyone's supposed to, like, be perfect. You're supposed to have arguments. You're supposed to disagree. And you never know, like, what another couple's going through. Because just because they don't show it doesn't mean they don't have, like, problems that they just don't want to be publicized necessarily. So...
Yeah, exactly. I've seen that. Like, you look at like a certain couple that's like popular in your school or whatever. You're like, oh my God, there's people are like, look at them, like, oh my God, they're so happy. I wish I was in a relationship like that. But what you don't know is, not all of them are like this, but what you don't know is that those two people might be arguing every single time they're not in public together, and you don't see that. So we're not really. I mean, I think overall we need a better. It needs to be better incorporated, like just talking about relationships in general, in the school system. And I think parents need to do a better job at educating their kids too, because a lot of them don't tell them really anything about, guys and girls and relationships and stuff like that. Anything to add?
Not really, no.
No?
I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Okay, so I also wanted to get in, like, the pressure and expectations of just being a teenager and stuff like that. And Bill, this doesn't pertain to just hookup culture and stuff, but pertaining to it, I lost my train of thought.
Just like more in general, or you're thinking like not relationships, it's just more in general, right?
Oh yeah, so with hookup culture, in terms of like expectations in terms of society, it's like a societal norm to go out and hook up with people nowadays and go to parties and do that stuff. And it leads some people to think like, oh, I'm missing out, this and that. But, you know, once you start actually indulging in hookup culture and stuff like that, you'll start to realize that it's, like you said in the beginning, it's not all... It's not what it's hyped up to be. Like, everyone's like, oh my God, it's so cool getting with girls and guys all the time. It's not. You know, it's just... Our society glamorizes it so much and makes it seem so good. Like, this is like the best thing in life when you're this age. And, you know, it's fun to do that stuff sometimes, but that's not what life's about. You know, like, I think about that type of stuff, and then I think about me walking outside and going for a fucking walk. And I'm like, damn. Me being outside, breathing in fresh air, just being in nature, that's better to me than just hooking up with some random person.
And that's just like maturity. That's just growing up. I mean, a lot of people, they say, oh, they're mature. Oh, yeah, like I went and did this. Maturity, that's another thing up for interpretation. If you're saying, oh, I went and did all this stuff, it's not like I'm saying it's a bad thing. You do you. But like maturity is just mentally growing up and realizing that like following every norm isn't always the right thing. There's trends. Oh yeah, there's cool trends out there, but hookup culture, you're not going to be doing that when you're 40. If you are, that's kind of sad.
Right. And it doesn't really exist much when you're 40.
Yeah.
Unless you're some guy with a fuck ton of money and then you just go to Miami. But yeah, I mean, and so it doesn't last your whole life if that's all you want to do. Anything to add?
I honestly, it's just a phase. You go through it
Yeah,
as a
I'd say
teen.
that.
You go to college and you party. That's all you do, really. And I mean, it depends on who you are, but majority people go to parties, hook up with girls, take them back to the dorms. You know, just that's like the life. But like as you get older, things change, obviously.
Yeah. And then, you know, just there's the dog barking. So yeah, I mean, just, and especially like in high school, you know, people also glamorize just going to parties in general, drinking, smoking, stuff like that. And that, you know, that's, I'm not saying you should do it because I haven't done that stuff.
Sober for 17 years.
Yeah, I'd say you shouldn't do it if you want to try stuff. You know, you do you, right? But that's definitely something that you do not want to get addicted to and to do regularly. Because I see a lot of people who are just, they party every single week, and I think to myself, like, is that really, do you find that enjoyable? I mean, some people, I'm sure they do, but, you know, Jack and I went to like 3 parties or something a few weekends in a row, and then we're like,
so bored of it already.
This.
It's so dumb. Like, you go there, like, you see everybody acting like retards, like jumping around. Oh, I can't use that word. They act a little stupid, you know, jumping around. You know, there's this one guy with a taser. He was tasing people. You see people throwing up everywhere. It's kind of gross, and it's just like the cops usually just show up. I mean, it's a high school party. We haven't like experienced like the college ones or anything. That's probably a lot different. Not a lot different, but it's a different experience. And but that's mostly what it's about, and I just kind of got bored of it.
And then sometimes I feel like people try so hard to do what they think they're expected to do, rather than what they actually want to do and what they actually enjoy doing. So they try like so hard to fit into their surroundings and what everyone else does around them, rather than thinking on what they actually want.
Right. Like, I think there's like, I don't know any personal examples of anyone, but I'd say there's probably like some guy or girl out there who's like, you know, I kind of like want a relationship with someone. Maybe I kind of want to like get to know someone and be with them. But then all their friends and everyone around them is just indulging in hookup culture, and they're like, oh, you should do this, you should come to parties with us, blah blah blah. And then that girl or guy will get into that, and they'll be doing it, but they're not like, but in the back of their mind they're like, this isn't what I really want.
Yeah, I completely agree. Not name dropping, obviously, but, you know, I've been at parties, you know, you see it kind of gets predictable, kind of gets old. I've been to outdoor parties, indoor parties. One outdoor party, oh my God, do I remember that? I went, and it was like a mud pit. Like, literally, there's so many people there. Like, everyone's just, like, we got there, everyone down the elk, and they think it's so cool and fun. And it's really is just glamorized. Like, I find that most people that are into that, like, drinking uncontrollably and stuff, they tend to have shallow personalities. Like, that's their only way of fun. And if that's your only way of fun, then get the fuck out of the party. You're not cool, really. Like, who are you fooling? It's just kind of pathetic when I get it. Drink if you want, you do you. But if you're like throwing up over the toilet, like, I mean, come on, like, have a little.
Gross.
Yeah, come on. Like, nobody wants the highlight of the party to be the freaking bathroom that you're throwing up in after you just hooked up with some guy and almost barfed in his mouth. Like, no, I promise you, it's not flattering.
Yeah, I mean, I see people like post that shit on their stories. I just look at it, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, that's fucking nasty.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, you do you. Like, I mean, this is just my personal opinion. I don't see myself getting plastered and, like, I don't know, doing all this crazy stuff. I'm just there to have fun. If you're gonna drink, but, like, just know there's consequences. Everything comes with a price. You hook up with a guy, they may go slander your name. That's unfortunately life, and you gotta know that. What's it?
I don't really have anything to add to that.
Alright.
No, that's fine. Yeah, no, I agree. And I also wanted to get into just I wanted to get into like social media in general and how you guys think it's like affected our generation in terms of, I guess, hookup culture too, but also, relationships and how it because I'd say like I think it's a lot easier for somebody to cheat on their boyfriend or girlfriend without them even knowing because of like stuff like Snapchat and stuff. Like you can, or for someone to like send nudes and stuff like that. A girl can be in a relationship and then send nudes to some random guy and her boyfriend will never know.
Didn't you do that?
He's lying, guys. But anyway, yeah, I just think social media has made it really easy to do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And also, like, aside from the whole relationship thing, it's just everyone feels like the main way of communicating is through Snap and stuff. And some people are just, they'd rather type behind their thumbs because they're too nervous to actually talk to a person, which that, like, baffles me. Like, nobody was thinking like that back in the day. And obviously, I know, like, it's a different generation. You can't even compare the two. But, like, some people have literally lost their way of talking, which is, like, insane.
Personally, like, I prefer calling over text.
Yeah.
Like, I hate when people, like, like, say you're gonna hang out with your friends, be here in 30 minutes, like, or, like, you're trying to make up a plan and you're texting it with your friends or anything in general. I'd rather just be like, hello? Like, and just start talking, having a conversation. Then sometimes when you call someone on the phone, it could lead into, like, more of a conversation, It could just lead into things, and I like that better.
Yeah, no, I was talking with a girl one time, and she was telling me that about her friend that was talking to this guy over text, right? He's like calling her cute, all this, that. Oh, I really want to hang out with you, blah, blah, blah. And then they hang out in person in like a group, and the guy like barely even talks to her. He's like the shyest guy. Like you're so this and that over text, but once you see the girl in person, you're just like,
So
what the fuck do I do with myself?
That's like the guys and the girls who like say that they're gonna do so much in person, and then when you hang out with them, it's just like, hey, like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, no, like, if you're awkward in person and you don't know how to interact, then don't be talking big game. Like, on, like, Snapchat, that's so weird. That's so weird.
Yeah, that's just whack to me.
Yeah, I think.
And then sometimes people, like, it's okay to meet some people online, I guess, but you don't really know the person because how someone acts online and how someone acts in person are two completely different things. Like, you don't know if you can hold a conversation with them in person or how anything would go. So, like, everyone's more focused on, like, texting to people or snapping random people that just add you, but you don't really know who they are because if you were to meet them in person, you have no idea how they'll act or how they'll be or anything about them, really.
Yeah.
Like, so do you use Tinder?
No.
So I also wanted to add, I never. This is some advice to you guys. Don't be a fucking simp, and by that I mean, I don't mean like don't care for your girlfriend. I mean like in general with girls, do not put girls on a pedestal and then be like, oh my god, this and that, and like beg girls for nudes and beg them to hang out and shit like that, because not only is that's probably unattractive, right?
I mean, you go. Okay. I feel like, I don't know if simp would be the right word, but I feel like for us girls, I mean, I think I'm speaking for most of us. Obviously, everyone's different. No one's the same. but it is so unattractive, especially when a guy's like, yo, come over after one day of knowing you. It's happened so many times to me. I'm like, what are you doing? How down horrendous do you have to be asking me to hang out? You don't even know me. I dead ass respond to this kid. I'm trying to get to know you first. So like, and I just start creating conversation. I think, oh, do you know me enough now? And I'm like, you're so weird. You're blocked. You're literally done. Like, that's just so awkward. What am I gonna do? Like, sit next to you? What am I gonna do? Like, 6 feet apart from you and like not talk to you?
And
Like,
there's a difference between like treating your girl right and like simping.
completely.
So
Yeah. I mean, like, you could, if you're in your feels over your girl and you care about her a lot and your friends are like, oh, simp. That's not a simp. Like, simp is like placing a girl on a pedestal. Like, if she's your girlfriend, I feel like it's a little different than if she's not dating you. If she shows no interest, then like, I think the main way you should look at it is just reciprocating. Reciprocate the energy that person gives to you. Like, if they're giving you attention, they're like, they seem really interested in you, be interested in them, because nobody's gonna like show interest and then the other person's just not gonna reciprocate. That's just not how it works. It takes two to do a relationship or whatever you want to call it.
Exactly. And you know, some people, and what I say to guys is usually, I mean, it's usually better when a girl likes you first and then you start something up with her, rather than you pursuing your girl and she doesn't like you at first, but you run through all these hoops and do this and that for her, and then she's like, oh yeah, I like you now. Because when a girl likes you first, you know she likes you. But then if you like her first, but she doesn't really like you at all, but then you go through all these hoops and you do this and that to try to get her to like you, it's, I mean, I don't know, but I don't think it's as genuine.
No, I completely agree. Girls, like, for the guys out there, girls like a little bit of a chase. Like, I'm not talking we have to jump hoops to get to you. Like, don't be like leaving us undelivered for a day. That's so gross. Like,
Yeah, there's also
guys and girls like that though.
Well, that's
yeah.
true. So yeah, like you know, in like the red pill community, they're like, oh, guys, you have to leave a girl on delivered for one day to show her that you're really busy and this and that. And like, listen, if you're a busy guy, of course you're not gonna be snapping a girl all day. And you shouldn't snap a girl.
Yeah, he's sick of it, guys.
You shouldn't snap a girl that you just started talking to all day and whatever. But don't like purposely space out the time and stuff like that. Like if you're busy, yeah, of course you're not gonna get back to her in like an hour or two. But don't purposely be like, all right, I'm gonna leave her undelivered for 3 hours just so she thinks I'm like doing something. Like you literally just gotta be. We've come to like, especially guys, try to like do all these different things to get a girl and stuff like that, but what you really just have to do is just be a genuine person.
I completely agree.
Is that who I thought it was?
Oh, no. That's my father. Jesus Christ.
Oh, daddy.
Inside jokes,
Hey,
guys.
yo.
Inside joke.
And then another thing with like, I wouldn't necessarily call it like simping, but it's a difference between liking someone and being obsessive over someone, I would say, because if they show and say that they're not interested in you many times, there's no point of trying to like.
Oh my god. I know exactly what you're saying. Guys. If a girl says she does not like you, move the fuck on. There's so many different girls out. Like, I can't tell you how many guys like that I see and girls tell me about, like, oh, I told this guy this many times that I don't like him, and he's still texting me, he's still asking me to hang out. I'm like, dude, give the fuck up.
Yeah, pretty much.
And again, that's not attractive.
Yeah, I completely agree. If a girl or a guy, like, this goes both ways. If they give you the hint they don't like you, it sucks. Get over it. Move on. There's like literally 7 billion people in the world, and you're fixated on one person. They don't care. They're not worth your time. Like prioritize yourself. Like,
Right. No. I always say, you know, you put yourself first, and even in a relationship, you know, of course, it's very important to show attention to them and care about them and stuff. But you come first. Your life is more important than someone else's.
And then when someone says they're not interested, it's not only unattractive if you keep trying, it also gets like annoying because you don't know what they're thinking or what the reason is. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. It could just not be the right time. They could be going through different things and they might just not want anything. You have to respect that and not try to push into it if they don't want it.
Yeah. Boundaries. So, this is getting a little bit different. This is like more personal stuff. So, we're gonna start off. I'm gonna branch off into a few different things. But What do you think, for both of you? What's the most attractive part about a guy physically, like a body part?
Body part?
Keep it PG.
Of course.
Yeah.
Only PG.
Yeah.
We're only PG on this podcast. Damn, that's hard. I wouldn't say like I have a type. Like I know a lot of girls, like this is just something you hear. Just like they're like, oh yeah, I love brunette guys, like messy hair, like.
But don't be that girl who just says, "Oh, I like a guy for his personality," because we all know that's not true.
No, I'm gonna be so honest. Listen, no girl will say this because obviously it may suck to a guy, especially if they're a little like lacking in the looks department. Like if a girl wants to let you down nicely, I mean, I've had experience with trying to let guys down nicely. It happens, but looks do matter. We're not gonna lie. We're not gonna sugarcoat it. Looks matter. It matters a little bit, but what's the point of having like being like, wow, like you are so hot, but then you have like the most shallow personality? Like there's only so much. Like if a girl really cares so much about looks and nothing about personality, you're gonna get so bored. Like you want someone to be with for like the long run. Like you don't want to like. I don't know why you'd want to waste time on someone with a shallow personality when you could find someone who's maybe not like super good looks, but like keep your standards up. Like you can wait around till you find the right person. There's no rush. Like you don't have to follow everyone else.
And then I think there's like different factors that would come into this because they don't necessarily have to be good looking, but I think that you should at least be attracted to them physically. And then obviously that isn't everything, because if you are attracted to them physically but you don't really know the person, or you're not attracted to how they act or anything, it doesn't really mean anything in the end. I feel like both factors would kind of incorporate into it. So you have to be like physically attracted to them, but then also attracted to who the person is.
Right, yeah, and I think a lot, for the guys out there, I think a lot of what guys do is value girls solely based on their looks. Like, just because guys get attention from a girl that's really hot, or they get sexual attention from her, they'll get into a relationship with a girl even though she's really hot, but she has no personality, and guys will tolerate that.
I want to say also, like a lot of people have this in effect of where, say they like someone, they find someone attractive, and their friends are a good influence on them, and they say to them that they don't find whoever they like the other person finds attractive, and then that gets to the other person's head, and it may like either they may not care about it, but usually how like society works now is a lot of people care what other people think. So when that happens, you may lose feelings, or just like some people may lose feelings, or some people may like think differently than, you know what I'm saying? Like if say you like, Brad says, I like this girl, I'm hanging out with her, and I want to be a good friend. Like good friends, they say good friends would rather talk shit to their friends to their face instead of talk shit behind their back. So like any like guy who's like that will say honestly, like to like say to Brad, oh, maybe I don't find that person attractive, and Brad, being for who he is, says, I don't really give a fuck, I like her for who she is and whatever. But from society, a lot of people actually care what other people think, and friends' opinions matter, so they just maybe would stop talking to that person.
Yeah, completely agree. Like friends, it happened to me once, where this guy was like kind of into me, and his friends were like, "Oh, Sophia, like what?" And I'm like, "Listen, like,
Sophia,
like," and I was like,
she's gross.
And what makes it even funnier was the guy was kind of like he was really mid. Like he was like a 4 out of 10
He's mid,
at
guys.
least.
He's mid.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
sure.
First of all, you have no right to speak. Second of all, like, it could tell a lot about the guy you're talking to or girl you're talking to. If a guy or girl listens to their friends solely and they can't make their own decisions, then look who you're dealing with. You're dealing with an immature person who literally has no idea how to speak for themselves or like branch off from like the norms or what society's pressuring them to do. Like that's so shallow and lame. Like if you can take a stand and be like, no, I think he or she's pretty cool, like that's cool for you. Like that instantly makes you more attractive.
The good thing about me and Brad's relationship is that we can say so much shit about anything, and we could just be like, fuck you, bro, and that would be it.
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
And you know that I think liking someone, but then listened to your friends and said, I think that's a self-confidence, and like that means you're not confident in yourself and what you be like Jack just said. If I'm talking to a girl and I really like her, and Jack says I don't think she's attractive, I literally say to Jack, I appreciate your opinion, but I don't give a fuck. I like this girl, and I'm gonna like her. And you know, I
like
used
we
to
take each other's opinions.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
like there was this one time we hung out as like a group and whatever, and Brad was there, and the girl left and whatever. So I was like, "Yo, Brad, what do you think?" And he was like, he said his opinion, whatever, and I was like, I kind of took in some of the things that he said, and then like on my way, like I just did whatever the hell I wanted to do, but like still like I still like listen to like what he says, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm not even saying like completely ignore your friends. Like I know, like I feel like people focus too extremely on things. Either like completely take your friend's advice or just completely like say fuck you.
But like
which
sometimes I
that's so
could like
dumb.
see it though.
Yeah.
Like if he or like or I said something and it was about someone like and like it was something like that I didn't notice but he did, then I'd like kind of take it in consideration.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's important to like listen to your friends, listen because like other people, like you just said, may see what you're not seeing, and like you gotta like keep your guard up because like no one wants to get let down. It sucks. It happens, but no one wants to like deliberately get into that. But like yeah, listen to your friends for sure. But ultimately, you control you. So like, why are you gonna let other people control you?
I agree.
100%. So, yeah.
Oh, you don't want
What?
her to speak?
Oh, I didn't even see. I'm sorry.
Come on, do better.
Okay, so in my opinion, it's like sometimes it's okay to keep your private life to yourself. Like it's important to tell your friends some things, but I feel like sometimes not everything, because if you know that you're going to take everything they say into consideration, it doesn't really show like how you actually feel, because if you only go based off of what they say, I don't necessarily think it's good. But if you're if you're like blinded sort of towards the person and they see something that you don't, I think that is good to take into consideration. But you shouldn't only not like go for what you want if it's just not what your friends want you to have.
I don't think you should really hide anything either, because like that's a little like weird. It's a little like you're going behind like people that care about you's backs, you know. Like there's one time, I'm not gonna mention anybody, but I went out and I saw someone with like that another person, and I didn't know that they were talking, and I kind of questioned them, and then they were like very sketchy about it, and they didn't want to tell me anything, and they acted like I wasn't even their friend, you know.
I didn't really mean to like hide it, but then there's some things that I feel like you shouldn't really say. Like there are some things that you should keep private. It is important to tell your friends some things, but I feel like other things, like they should either be kept
Well,
to
yeah,
yourself
if
or
you
kept
have
between
if
you
you
and-
have a relationship
Yeah.
and you want to like have your own like thing with your girlfriend or whatever, or your boyfriend, like that's fine. Like you don't have to tell everything to your friends like about your like relationship or everything like that. I just think that like sometimes it could be a little weird, you know.
Yeah, but like let's say if you're having an argument with someone, I would prefer to like work it out with the person instead of telling all your friends about the argument or whatever and then like starting a bunch of shit that isn't really necessary. So that's why like to keep some things to like yourself and try to work them out instead of getting everyone else involved when they don't really know the whole story.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. And yeah, no, I mean, going back to pointing things out that you might not see, like there's like been times where I really liked a girl or something, then Jack pointed something out and I'm like, shit, I don't even notice that. And that's like a big red flag, because you know, a lot of the times I think guys and girls both, I can't speak for girls though, like there's been times where I've like really liked a girl and it's like you like them so much that you get blinded by all of the bad things about them. And of course, and everyone has their flaws, you know. It's just because someone has one quote unquote red flag, that doesn't mean they're a horrible person or anything like that. But be aware, because they might have more red flags than green flags. And
Yeah.
you might not figure that out unless someone gives you a little bit of guidance. But you know, overall, you make your own decision. If somebody tells you that this person has all these red flags and you still see it, but you still decide to get into a relationship with someone, you know, that's on you. You get your heart broken, that's on you.
Yeah, and also I just feel like one last thing I want to say, like I feel like just relationships and being open with your friends. You don't obviously have to tell them everything, but like just be mindful of like who your friends are into. Like don't be that friend who's like going for the person that your other friend's into. Like that's just not cool. I feel like that's a low blow.
Yeah.
Why are you guys smirking? I feel like you guys have
Nah, I
something to
agree.
say. Jack, would you like to comment?
No.
No, definitely
No.
not. We're not gonna talk about that. But yeah, no, I just agree.
Should have said that a long time ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh.
Moving on.
Yeah, no. All right. So going back to the physical looks part, dad bod or six pack?
Neither. I mean,
Neither?
to be honest, like being like a freaking Terminator looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger type beat. Like, listen, that's not like all the hype. Like, I mean, some guys can pull it off, some guys can't. Like, I know some guys that are out here like, oh, leg days for girls, and I'm like, you're the problem here. You are the problem. Like, how can you work out your whole top body and then have legs looking like chopsticks? Like, what are you doing? You look like a Roblox character.
That's
Like,
good
what?
workout advice. That's for you guys.
Guys, don't say legs are for girls. Like, no. You are the girl then.
I actually got to hit legs today.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, for real.
I went for a run. Ryan, what do you think?
So I would agree that like neither, and then it depends on the person. I would say, because if they're trying so hard on their looks just to like impress someone else, I don't really find that attractive, because I think that they should do what they want to do and like look how they want to look instead of trying to impress other people. So it would really depend on the person.
Right. And so for guys that are either overweight or you think you're too skinny, don't get into the gym because you want to get girls. You know, girls might find you more attractive once you start to work out, lose weight, or gain muscle, but don't do it for girls. You work out for you, and then if it helps you get girls in the long run, that's just an added plus. But working out, you do it for you. Because I see some guys that they start to work out just because they're like, oh, once I work out, I'll start to get girls. But what I also tell them is, you know, you might look a little bit better, but looking good and having social skills are two different things. If you look good, but you have no social skills, you ain't going to get anywhere with girls. Doesn't matter how much you work out in the gym.
Yeah, completely true. Like,
Work on your confidence, boys.
yeah,
100%.
completely. Like, let me tell you, self-respect is so attractive. Like, you should not be working for someone else's validation. Like, that's just, no, that's not cool. Like that's just part of growing up also. If you haven't grown up by now, everyone grows up at a different rate. Like, that's just facts. But, like, you should be going to the gym for you. It's your self-improvement. And other people will notice your self-improvement. If you're working on you, people will notice. You don't have to work for them to see it. You work for you to see it first.
Right. Put your head down, work, and the results will show. Don't run your mouth. Just do the work, and then it'll just show.
For sure.
And then for self-respect, it is a huge like factor, and it's good, but it's not good for your ego to be too high necessarily, that you think you're better than everyone else, or you think you're too good for someone. But it is good to be confident in yourself, just not just for
You
your,
better be kidding.
I'm
just
kidding.
for your ego
You
to
better be
not,
fucking kidding.
just for your ego to not be like too big that you think you're always better or too good for someone. I feel like that also plays a huge factor.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of guys out there who think they're like, oh, I'm too good for this girl, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Or I'm better than this guy just because I'm this, blah, blah, blah.
Literally you.
The fuck up, bro. So, alright, so then what do you, so aside from looks and stuff, what makes you attracted to a guy, you know, whether it's personality-wise, different traits, whatever?
Intelligence is smart. Like, I'm smart. Jeez.
Intelligence is pretty fucking smart, Sophia.
Intelligence is smart. Okay. All right. Yeah.
I didn't hear that correctly the first time, and then when you resaid it, I was like, what the
Intelligence is attractive. You know what I meant. Intelligence is very attractive. Like, if you can't
Like Harvard smart?
I'm not. No. Listen.
Guys,
I'm not,
if you don't go to Harvard, girls won't
yeah,
like
if you don't go to Harvard, we don't want you. Like, you're done. You're kicked to the curb.
Go to the streets.
Yeah, literally. No, but I'm talking like intelligence can come in multiple forms. It can come book smart. It's like, don't get me wrong. It's really nice when a guy like has goals. Like, I feel like goals can be through intelligence, even working out. Like, if you're doing it for you, going back to that, like, that's great. Like, if you have goals and you're set to become better without seeking anyone's validation, you're cool. Like, that's so attractive. But yeah, being intelligent, whether it's book smart, street smart, or you just know your stuff and you just kind of have a maturity to you, like, that's really attractive. Like, that's grown up. Like, because that's the difference between a boy and a man, you know?
We don't want no boys around here, right, Brad?
We don't want boys.
Nah, bro.
Brad heard that quote.
Grow up.
Remember?
What are you talking about? What quote?
Remember?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But see, the viewers don't know what we're talking about, so we can't talk about it. So
You can say it.
okay, so there's this quote, and it's wait, I don't remember what it was.
I want a man, not a boy.
Oh yes, that's it. So girls want a man, not a boy.
And then I agree with Sophia, but I feel like the main thing for me is if you could like communicate, or if you guys can hold a conversation, I would say. Because if you can't hold a conversation, then you don't really know much about each other, I would say. I feel like that you should be able to hold a conversation, be able to talk about different things. And like, you might not always be comfortable with what you talk about, but you have to you have to get used to being able to talk with the person and being able to like express yourself, I would say, instead of trying to hold everything in, and then that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think, and that goes back to like a lack of communication just between people and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, also psychology trick for you guys. This works for girls and guys both. But let the other person talk. When other people, like when you're talking all the time, like it's whatever. It's good to be confident, but don't have such a big ego that you're boasting about yourself all the time. But overall, when you're in conversation with someone, let them talk. Like when I talk to girls and stuff, I let them do most of the talking, because it's just a psychological thing that when you just look at someone while they're talking, they feel like you're listening to them. They just automatically start to like you more. Completely. And that's not just with relationships. That's just with people in general. Like if I were to meet Jack and then I let him do most of the talking and him talk, he'll just be like, this guy, I feel like he really gets me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's personable, and like good listeners, that's also maturity. It all goes back to really maturity. If you listen well, you're just gonna do much better in life. Everyone loves a good listener, but that doesn't mean like stay quiet the entire time and just sit there with like your freaking hands folded. Like no, yeah, exhibit A, not what not to do. Yeah, just listen, talk, balance it out. Nobody likes an egomaniac. That's a little too much to handle. Like,
it's really attractive. Eye contact.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, that just goes to what's so funny.
What?
Alright, so just in general, looking at people makes you feel like they have a connection with each other. Like if someone's not attractive to you and you're looking at them with a conversation, like they're not attracted to you, so they're gonna be like looking away and stuff. Yeah. But building like a connection with someone, eye contact is super important. Anything to add on that or no?
Do you have any thoughts on eye contact, Ryne?
I don't really have anything to add.
Alright, so then next, oh wait, did you list what you find attractive about a guy or no? Yeah. You did? Okay, I'm losing myself.
She went with Sophia with nothing. She doesn't like dad bod, and she doesn't like a muscular man.
Yeah, you never really said. Do you like a dad bod or a six pack?
She said neither. She said neither.
No, but I mean like personality wise, what makes you attracted to someone? Right. Okay. So then, what do you guys think are some red flags in guys? You have a second to think about it.
I feel like a huge thing is if they like act completely different around you and how they act with their friends, because it kind of just shows it shows that they're not genuine. I feel like they would have to act like, if they act a little different, then that's fine, because if they're still getting used to you or whatever. But if they're a completely different person around you and your friends, it's not necessarily like the best thing. And then another thing is if they don't want to hold a conversation or can't hold a conversation, I feel like is a really big red flag, because they either don't know what to talk about or they can't talk about it, if that makes sense. But I feel like there's no connection if you guys can't hold a conversation or have anything to talk about or know what to talk about.
Yeah, but see, the only defense I have in like the guys acting different around girls, and then guys, like when you're with your boys, like it's a whole different vibe. It's like I don't
like
even
if me and Brad were alone right now, you don't even understand.
I completely understand. Guy, I get what you mean. Like I get what you mean, but I feel like that's where people get lost in translation. Like when you say act different, like we're talking about like if you go up to like whether it's guy or girlfriends, and you're like, oh yeah, I don't really fuck with her, I don't fuck with him, and then you go up and you're talking to them on stop. Like you see so many of those kind of people in your life, and it's so annoying. It's like, why are you even bothering with me then? Like, if you're embarrassed of someone, then don't talk to them. Like, it's just that simple. But like, some of my red flags, I feel like if you're talking too much about politics, like, go away. Like I feel like it's great to form your view. Like, that's like a really cool step, especially if you do your research, you actually look into it. Like, good for you. Like, you're maturing in some way, shape, or form. But like, if you make that your whole personality trait, and then someone talks to you about anything remotely else and you can't talk, then stop studying politics and start studying social cues. Like, oh my god.
That's a good one.
You guys look like you have something to say about that.
I mean, yeah, no. There's some people out there who can only talk about politics. You know, you have your views, that's cool. And there's also people, this just goes into being open-minded and stuff, but people who have, like, a certain political view, and they state their opinion, then, like, someone else who they're talking to will disagree with them on it. And then someone with a certain political view, just because that person disagrees with them on one singular thing, they'll start to think that, oh, this guy's just a piece of shit because he has one different view than I do.
Well, also, the people who disagree have nothing to say. Like, they'll disagree, and then you'll ask them how they disagree, and then they won't be able to say anything about it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I completely
Like, the
agree.
people who, like, if that conversation comes into play, if some type of politics or some type of disagreement you have with somebody, and you state your opinion, and then they tell you that you're stupid for saying that, and then when you ask them their opinion on it, they can't say anything. They don't know what to say. They can't state why you're stupid about what you said.
Yeah, what you're saying. And, you know, I mean, just overall, yeah, I mean, politics shouldn't be your entire personality. If you're into it, that's cool, but it shouldn't be your entire personality. Anything else or no?
Like, you guys think, like, red flags, like, what if their toes are weird, or, like, what if they
that
have,
was
like...
oddly specific. You seem to have
Oh,
some
yeah, wait, yeah,
experience with that.
I hear girls tell me, like, they have, like, icks and stuff.
Yeah, icks.
Explain
Icks,
those.
yeah.
Oh, icks.
Explain
Okay.
those.
Well, okay. I did have an ick with my ex. I can't even if I name drop, I literally have one ex, so this is so obvious who it is, but whatever. I went skiing.
Shout out to the ex.
Yeah, shout out to the ex. I went skiing and snowboarding with this guy, and like an ick is just something you make up in your head that like you're like, ugh, like that's gross. Like you just imagine that person. Like if a girl had feelings for a guy and they want to get over him, like just imagine some icks. It helps a lot. Like I'm not even kidding you. Like I think we've all done it. You've definitely done it like without even realizing it. Yeah, exactly.
Can you give an example?
What happened?
Can you give an example?
Okay, so my ick. Yeah, I'm getting to it, Jack. Be patient.
All right.
So when I went skiing and snowboarding, I was skiing. My ex was snowboarding. He fell every second. Like could not stay on his feet for 1 second. I had to wait for him on the hills. I was like, who's teaching who? Like, is it me or you? Like,
wait, so you like your guy more like athletic?
No, it's not even that. It's not even that. I'm not saying like, oh, you have to be a good snowboarder. Like, I mean, obviously it's nice.
Sounds like that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that sounds like what you're saying.
I don't like this attack. I feel like I'm being attacked right now.
No, go on.
No, yeah. So it's just basically you make up like. I know a lot of girls, a popular one, don't even ask why. It just works. Like you imagine a guy like falling and like breaking something and crying, like not saying that like a guy can't cry. This is not something I've done. I've heard other girls do it. Like they just imagine a guy like crying over getting hurt, or like I don't know, like saying he needs like an ice pack, and like it's just something to laugh at and be like, oh my god, ew, that's so cringe, and get over it. We're not saying like guys like can't cry. Like it's a whole nother debate, but like. I think like guys should be able to express their emotions, but
manly guys cry.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I feel like
I cry around Brad.
Oh, for real?
I cry around Jack.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Jack and his feels.
Yeah.
Blinking back a little tears. Okay.
Oh.
Well, no, for icks, I wouldn't like. There's nothing that comes to my head. I feel like they're just like not huge things, but then just like small things that you're like, oh, like why did that have to happen, or like, oh, why'd they do this? But it's not necessarily like a big thing and nothing that I could think of off the top of my head. They're kind of just like little small things that you notice that you don't necessarily like, I would say.
Yeah, so a friend of mine, she's a girl, she asked me, she's like, do guys have icks? And I was like, I mean, I guess there's something like that a girl can do that I think is unattractive. But at the same time, I never really ever let any of that stuff like change the way I think about them or anything. Like they'll do something that. Let me finish.
Okay, yeah.
They'll do something that I don't find like that attractive or whatever, but I'll get over it in like a matter of 10 seconds, depending on what it is.
Yeah, I've experienced that a lot. Like, they'll do something, and I'll just get like it'll just get to me, and I'll be like, all right, it's not a big deal, you know. like they'll repetitively do it because they know I don't like it, and then it's like me like busting Brad's balls or like him busting my balls, but it's not like a big deal. But like it's like the fact that they're it's so that the fact that they're doing it because they know like I hate it, you know.
Yeah. So name some icks. Like let's hear some like actual icks you guys have had.
I don't like when girls like obnoxiously burp.
Ooh,
that just bothers me.
Attractive.
That's so specific.
I don't know.
That is really oddly specific.
I don't know. Like I've had it happen to me like a couple times because like I just like I don't know. It's just like if someone does it, I'll be like I don't know. It's just like the manners. Like I don't know. I just don't. I find like they should be like more like polite and like not like that. You know. I mean, I think like it could be like a funny thing, like guys doing whatever, but it's just like the fact that like if a girl does it, and she's like obnoxious about it, it's just like weird.
Yeah. I'd say if a girl starts talking about like if a girl starts talking about like guys from the past and stuff.
True.
Like just like, oh yeah, no, I did this guy, we did that one time.
I hate that.
I'm like, I don't need to I don't fucking care. Like I care now because you're bringing it up, but. Yeah, like when a girl's talking about like her past, like if you're like starting to like talk to someone and you guys are opening up about like your past experiences and this and that, that's cool.
Yeah.
But when you just out of nowhere just bring up like past guys, it's like there's no need for that. That's not attractive.
Completely, I agree.
And yeah, I mean, I think like guys and girls both, but like I'm just gonna talk about girls just because I'm a guy and I notice it in girls. Like if a girl's like bragging about like how many guys she's got with, I'm like, shut the fuck up.
That's gross.
Like, nah.
Yeah, I feel like if you want to go that route, like, you do you. But, like, if you have to go bragging about it, just like, oh, yeah, I have to brag. Oh, yeah, I drank, like, 5 White Claws in one night. Like, you're not cool. If you put a sticker over your can and you hold it up and then you put a sticker over it, like, who are you fooling? Like,
I actually wanted to ask a question about that.
Oh, God.
Well, not that, but, do you think body count, matters? Like, say like you're getting in a relationship with a guy or a girl and they have more bodies than you or they don't have bodies at all, like if they're like a virgin or if they have like a shitload of bodies, like does that matter?
Yes and no. I feel like it really depends on the person. Some people are okay with it. Personally, I'm not saying I'd be like completely closed off to like you're a terrible person. No, it's just personal preference and I don't want people getting
What's a max?
Max. I don't like to think of it as like a max. Like you're not trying to reach some high score here. I mean, I'd hope not. Like I know kids are like, oh yeah, like I.
You don't do like the tally marks.
Yeah, like I know kids who like make the list and all, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get a third. I'm like, this is not like a fucking like high score game here.
Yeah, I've been in like class and like some guys like try to impress and whatever, and they'll be like, yo, bro, look at my notes, bro, and I'd be like. Okay, and he'd be like, bro, do you know this girl? And I'll be like, yeah, and he'll be like, bro, it was crazy, and I was like, okay, cool, thanks for telling me. Like it'll be like a list of like 2 pages of a list, and I'll be like, cool.
If you have to share about it, that just shows that you have zero conversation. Like you got to make it. If you're making it about you and your bodies, like no one, unless you ask about it, no one really cares.
Yeah.
Also, I think it also results again in a low self-confidence because you have to share all of that. It's like these guys and girls start to believe that that's their value as a person. Oh, I'm good or better than you because I've gotten with this many people. But no matter how many people you've gotten with, whether it's 10 or 0, like that doesn't tell anyone anything about you yourself. Like I tell guys, like, even if you're fucking 18 and if you haven't like kissed a girl yet, like even if you haven't, like I wouldn't feel so fucking bad about it where like you're sitting in your room and you're crying about it. Oh, I just want to kiss a girl, blah blah blah. I mean, sure, it's nice, but that these guys start to believe because they haven't done stuff with a girl that they're not worth it. They're not valuable. But that's not true.
And then based off of your question before, I feel like it depends because there's some people who would brag about their count or stuff like that as a way of them like trying to seek approval or trying to feel like not good about themselves but trying to like impress other people, which I feel like is a turn off because it doesn't like because then it sounds like you're not doing it because you want to. It sounds like you're doing it because you want other people to think that like, oh, they get with so many people or whatever. So it sounds like you want people to like be jealous of you or try to do everything that you do, or it seems like you're trying to look for approval in other people, in my opinion.
Well, do you do you find attractive, experienced guys?
I don't really think it matters.
I don't really think it matters either because like people are going at their own pace here. Like I'm not gonna like go laugh at a guy and say, "How you loser? You haven't kissed anyone." Like,
well, would you would you prefer to either get with someone or be in a relationship with someone who has experience rather than none?
No, because ultimately I feel like if I'm picking and talk to you, I'm talking to you based on other things. I'm not like, oh yeah, he has experience, so yeah, I want to get with him or I want to like have sex with him. Like no, it's like so dumb. Like it's literally, it's not that hard. I feel like people overcomplicate it. It should be personality, looks, maybe some other things. It shouldn't be like experience, how good they're gonna be. Like no one's gonna be perfect, and like you gotta realize
Practice makes perfect.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Practice
Jack.
makes permanent, not perfect.
Oh,
Because you could practice something, anything in life, and still be shit at it.
for sure. Sure. Jack, do you have anything in comment on that?
No.
No?
No.
You don't have a preference? Experience?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Brad, do you have anything?
I mean, I would say, sometimes it's like a little bit annoying, like having to like teach a girl something, but at the same time, in terms of like a relationship or something, like, I don't think anyone should base someone's experience based off of a relationship or like someone you hang out with a lot, because it's like, again, you're with them for them, not just because you can get with them.
Well, like, I don't think experience matters because if they're not an awkward person and you can have a good time with them, then it's good.
Yeah, I mean, like if I were to just hook up with someone and that's it, would I prefer them to be experienced? Sure, but other than that, no, I don't care.
And then one more thing on that about experience, it doesn't matter, but then if they only want to like date you or get with you because they want to do something, I feel like that's kind of a turn off, because it doesn't matter if they have experience or not, but if they're only trying to talk to you or get with you or do something with you just so that they could have experience, I don't think that's like a good thing. But it doesn't matter if they don't have experience, it just matters if they're only trying to get experience, I think.
Yeah, but in reality, everybody wants that.
What?
If you like it or not, like, everybody wants to do something with someone else because that's like how like people work.
I think that comes down to everyone. Yeah. All right, so when I think about hookup culture as a whole and stuff like that, I think we have an entire generation of really lonely people, and we kind of use hookup culture as a way to feel connected, even though that's not the way to do it. A relationship is much better than just going with random. So people feel lonely all the time.
Well, I didn't say it. I didn't mean it in that sense.
I'm not
talking
talking about that.
I'm saying like in general, like if you're getting to a relationship with someone or you're gonna hook up with them, not everybody looks at it like you don't like if you're gonna get into a relationship with a girl, you don't think at all like, oh, like they're hot, like I can't, like I want to kiss them and shit. Like everyone thinks that, you know.
Well, yeah.
It's like, yeah,
That's a normal thing.
Yeah.
But that's not like. But that shouldn't be your
goals.
base
Yeah, I
factor
know.
as your foundation as to why you want to be with someone.
Yeah, but not like so. Okay, let me retract.
Yeah.
You're not like people just. I don't know if maybe people do this. Like maybe they'll just get into the relationship and they don't think about that at all. I wouldn't know.
I mean, it's like when I'm like about to get into a relationship. I mean, it's just like anticipated, like stuff's gonna happen, but I don't think about it. Like
not like think about it like all the time. Like you're like, oh my god, like that. But like, it's not like a thing that you don't think about. It's like you're getting into a relationship and like you don't think like like I wouldn't be able to do that with someone. Like I just don't feel like we do that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it crosses your mind, but at
Yeah.
the same time, when I'm about to get into a relationship, I'm like excited for spending time with
Yeah.
like the person and who they are.
And that's why, like, I think a lot of relationships are just so fucked now. It's because everybody just wants to, like, fuck and shit, and that's all they do. Like, all I see is people, like, I've seen this, multiple people, they get into relationships, and they say that they like the person for who they are, but in reality, they hang out every single day or whatever, and they just do sexual things, and they watch Netflix, and, you know, they'll watch TikTok and whatever, and they won't help each other emotionally or anything, and it'll just be a cycle, and that's how people get bored, how you said earlier.
Yeah, and then that's sort of what I meant before by if they only like want to do something so that they could do something. So if people want to get into a relationship just to get into a relationship instead of genuinely liking the person and genuinely wanting to like get further with the person, not just sexually, but like also emotionally, and talk about deeper things with the person rather than just wanting to do specific things so that they could do specific things.
Yeah, I just kind of misunderstood what you said, so I went off a little bit off topic, but that's okay.
I completely forgot what I was gonna say. I'm gonna be so honest, but I just feel like, just to make it short and quick, just I guess connecting with someone on a whole nother level other than like sexually is just so much more important, and people do not realize that. Like, grow up, realize that, like, you know, there's more to people than like how they may appear. Like, you may look at a girl or a guy and be like, oh damn, he or she has like a nice body, like, oh wow, like that's great. But like, what's beyond that? Like, what's in their soul? Like, what do they care about? Like, did you even think about that? Like, what if they're like not the type of person you were? Then you just completely missed out on that, and like that's on you, you know.
Yeah, I mean, right before I get into another topic, I just wanted to add, I think hookup culture, a part of the reason why it's bad is because I see so many people. I was actually talking to my friend, and he was like, yeah, I like got with all these girls and stuff, but all we did was hook up, and we didn't talk at all. So then I think to myself, like, what? Oh, that, yeah.
But like, it was good to see you guys. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you gotta go?
You have to leave.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
All right, thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on, Sophia.
Yeah.
And thanks, Ryan. And we'll
I
talk
gotta
to you guys later.
Oh, we're done?
Yeah. We'll have them on another time.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
peace, guys.
I'll see you guys later. Great episode. Peace.
100%.